Hello everyone, and welcome back to another video. Today I thought we could hang out while I work on this watercolor painting I'm making for a friend. So let's get going. I guess we've already gotten going because, I'm over there painting cacti. Anyway, it took me a long time to finally come around to wanting to try watercolor. When I was still doing art for myself before the college burnout, I swore I'd only be a black and gray graphite artist, never do anything in color, and never stray from what I knew I was best at, or what I thought I was best at. And for a long time, those thoughts stayed true. I never wondered about what I'd do beyond doodling in my sketchbooks, largely because the sketching phase was, and still is, my favorite part of the drawing process. And I really wasn't interested in anything else. Honestly, I didn't have many positive experiences with other media. When I found Emily Artful's channel here on YouTube, I almost immediately changed my mind. Watching her paint and seeing her watercolor work really inspired me to want to try it myself. I found other watercolor artists like Kevin Wada, and seeing what you can actually do with watercolor made it so much more appealing. It wasn't weak, pale color and things blending into mush, which had been my previous experience. We never really discussed technique, as far as I remember, in any of the art classes I took. We didn't learn much about the media in and of themselves. In fact, it was more art history based versus this is how you do this technique. My previous assumptions about watercolor were based on the crappy little Crayola pans that you get from the dollar store, and largely just not liking or understanding what I was supposed to be doing with them. I'd gotten into coloring with alcohol markers, which is a far pricier choice, but I realized that I couldn't stop thinking about painting. Last year, on a whim, I went to my somewhat less than local art supply store to see what was on offer for beginners. I'm sure we've all experienced the decision paralysis when looking at various art supplies and the sticker shock that usually goes along with it. I just didn't want to pay a professional price for something I wasn't sure I'd like. Luckily for me, there happened to be a watercolor artist in the aisle looking for those refillable pans, and somehow I, super introverted, does not talk to strangers despite recording a voiceover for the internet, decided to ask her if she had any recommendations for somebody looking to get into watercolor. As I said in my previous video, she suggested the Winsor and Newton Cotman pocket set. It's basic, it's student grade, it was like $20, and I very excitedly bought it, took it home, swatched everything, and immediately put it in a drawer and did not think about it for longer than I'd like to admit. It seems to be a theme with me in art and in things in general that I claim I don't like are actually things that I enjoy once I know how to do them. Go figure, right? The same thing happened with my high school ceramics class. I was so angry to be put in a class that I thought was beneath my level, and oh boy, was I absolutely wrong. It turned out that I actually loved ceramics once I relaxed and let myself have fun. And I continued taking the class for an additional year before I graduated from high school. In fact, one of the pieces I made and entered into the National Art Honor Society competition won me some scholarship money, which, I'm not gonna lie, was pretty incredible. Moral of the story being that if you hate something, maybe it's because you never learned how to do it. Or, at least that was true for me. And the good thing about paint is that if you don't like something, you can just paint over it. Usually. I didn't make my first watercolor piece until 2022. I'd gone on vacation, and one rainy day, I decided to have a cozy pajama movie day, and I ended up painting a watercolor version in my sketchbook of a plant called a Dracula's Kiss iris. First of all irises have amazing names, and I want them all for my future garden. How can you reject something called the Devil's Punch Bowl? Do I know how to take care of plants? No, not really. Does that matter? I don't know, probably financially, but who cares? Second, it turned out really well, and I was proud of how it looked. And feeling happy with my art is something that still surprises me. It's been a very long time since I was confident in anything that I made or did, let alone with something new like painting. when I got home, I grabbed some watercolor paper and I made a cleaner version of that same piece that also turned out pretty well. I also ended up doing 2 more floral pieces, the second being a Venus flytrap, which I learned last year can flower. I had no idea that they had flowers, but I guess it makes sense. You have the flowers to attract the pollinators to make more Venus flytraps, and then you have the traps to eat the pests. The third was a painting of monkshood, which I felt like I ruined by adding line art. But you know what? I was able to fix that digitally. While this isn't my usual painting preference, it's nice to experiment and to do things that don't require a lot of thought or planning. And, my friend really likes cacti. I think flowers are pretty much the go-to what should I paint today for a lot of people, and I'm working on my habit of not psyching myself out of a project before I start. Since watercolor was also the gateway medium to gouache and color pencil, I should have plenty of practice in the coming year at not winding myself up about it. Painting more is definitely one of my 2024 goals, as well as practicing digital art and getting back into a more creative space. Like I said, it's been quite a while since I was actually happy with any of the things that I've created. I'd like to get back to a place where even my silliest little doodles are something that I can look at and see progress in. Did not let the trials and tribulations of college and the weight of other people's opinions stop me from doing the things I love. Well, that's it for now. Thank you for joining me. I hope you enjoyed watching. And let me know if you enjoy these more relaxed, rambly style videos. Subscribe if you want to, and I'll catch you guys next time. Bye.